start off with our 3-bean chili. We are going to heat our olive oil in our large saucepan over here, which is basically just this pot, okay? And it is going to be, it says 2 teaspoons, but you could just measure it out. Usually a teaspoon is going to be like a dollar, half a dollar in size. So
into the saucepan, we're going to add our garlic, onion, and bell pepper. So while Chloe's heating up the olive oil, I'm going to start cutting up our bell pepper. The recipe calls for half a cup of chopped fresh bell pepper, but you can adjust it to your taste if you want more or less. Same goes for onion and garlic.
We're going to skip the onion, so we're just going to go for the garlic. And it calls for 1 teaspoon of garlic. I'm going to put that in there. And get these out of your way.
Thank you.
Just throw them in there. Turn on the oven to about, the stovetop to about 7 or 8. It just depends on how fast you're gonna cook it.
I love working with green peppers because they're so colorful, but they're always hard to cut. Thank you.
You're welcome. Throw them in there.
So after we add our garlic and peppers, you are supposed to let them saute for about 3 minutes in the olive oil.
And you can tell that when the garlic is finished when you can smell it, and it's really pungent.
Really
it
strong.
Smells really good. So
making chili always reminds me of Super Bowl Sunday or big family events where you have to host a lot of people. Because our recipe probably makes about 4, 5, 6 servings, but you could obviously double or triple this recipe if you're making chili for a big crowd. Or sometimes they'll do fundraisers where you have to bring chili. So if you brought your vegetarian chili, then you would be helping out the people that don't eat meat.
And there's a sizzling. It's going down.
Sizzling.
And there's going to be a few of these seeds in here, so it'll make it a little more spicier than it usually is, but that is great because chili is supposed to be spicy, right?
Oh yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
We got these in here sauteing. It's going to be great. It's going to be so delicious. Yum.
So this recipe calls for a can of black beans, a can of chickpeas, a can of kidney beans, a can of tomatoes, and so we're going to add all of these to this vegetable mix, as well as some tomato puree, cumin, and black pepper.
And you definitely, you want to rinse these guys, and my dad told me that if you rinse them, it'll get it really nice, so it's not so slimy, because the beans, when they are in the can, they're always really slimy.
They will be.
So we're gonna get this little strainer, and if you have a strainer at home, you can get that. But just throw the beans in there. And then rinse them off really lightly. And that should be good for that. Stir up this for a little bit.
When we add our vegetables, we're going to also add a 3/4 cup of water. So I'll go ahead and put that in there so we can start adding the veggies.
Okay, I'm gonna put the beans in this right here.
Okay, got a little bit of water in there. These also will make the recipe really colorful.
Oh, put them over here. Just mix the beans together. It doesn't really matter if they're separate. Yum. I love chickpeas as hummus.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Hummus would actually be good to go along with this recipe.
It would. It really would. Okay. This is going to simmer a little bit so we can get a little of the green peppers to be soft than they usually are, because we want them to have a little crunch, but to be more soft.
To this pan, we're also going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. This reminds me of pizza sauce, really thick pizza sauce. There we go. Woo.
All right. I'm going to add the tomatoes to the mixture of the green peppers and the garlic.
Great color.
And it might need a little salt just in case. It just depends on what the taste is for it.
Are we ready to add these, do you think?
We're ready.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're gonna add a tablespoon of cornmeal after all that stuff is simmers for a little bit. So I'm just gonna get it all ready and we'll have it done for you.
The green peppers look really good after they sauteed them.
Oh wow, it looks great.
Now that our vegetables are stewing together, we also need to add a little bit of vegetable broth. So the recipe calls for 1 can of organic vegetable broth, so we're going to measure out about a cup or 2.
Yeah, probably about a cup and a half will be fine. This is a half a cup, so I'm going to put 2 or 3 in there, and it should look great.
And then our final spices that we're going to add to the chili are chili powder and ground cumin. You could also adjust the spices depending on how hot that you like your chili, or if you like basil or oregano in your chili, you could add those too. That would also be really good. And the recipe calls for a teaspoon of each of these. We're going to add these to the mix. It smells good.
It does. It's going to be so great. It has all these, ooh yeah, whoa. The flavor is just,
Ooh,
I
you can smell
the flavor.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then the recipe says to allow the vegetables to simmer for a few minutes, and finally add 1 tablespoon of cornmeal.
The cornmeal will kind of like, it'll like thicken it up a little bit. Yeah, that way it'll be more hearty.
That
Gives it a special kick to it. And yeah, this smells so good. It smells like I'm in Mexico. It's gonna be great. I have a feeling.
All right. Well, while our chili simmers, we have to leave it on the stovetop for a little while. So we're going to take a break.